The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN, 9:06 a.m. Monday morning. We got 24 minutes to go until the start of trading, and we got markets gearing up in positive territory. S&P's almost 25 points in the positive right now. You're trading at 41.76. We had a high early on Friday of 41.85. You started last night in the futures. Things looking a little negative as we trade down to a low of 41.42. So you're talking about 34 points higher on the S&Ps from where we closed out Friday action. We're sitting at 41.76, 0.6% in the positive. NASDAQ 100, the leader right now, 0.8%, more than 0.8% positive, 13,516. The Dow's up about 0.5%, 34,308. And we get the Russell up about 0.6% at 2225. We talked about Bitcoin. We'll talk about Bitcoin a little bit more throughout the program. Just remarkable volatility. You almost can't overstate it, folks. Now, as I mentioned, you don't see a lot of the action on the weekends of Bitcoin because when we're pulling up the futures chart, that's not going to show you the Friday to Sunday action. But this chart should reflect some action down to about 32,000 on Bitcoin over the weekend. You had Ethereum pulling back hard. You had everything pulling back hard over the weekend as well. Pretty remarkable how quickly all of the cryptos have pulled back from some of the highs we had. Coinbase going public on April 14th. Not hard to ever forget that date, folks, because it's the high that Bitcoin had, 65,520. We've pulled back. We're sitting at 38,000. We'll see how the day persists, though. Some negative action definitely over the weekend. Let's jump over to Coinbase, see how they're reacting this morning. Up $4 from the close of Friday action. That volatility not scaring away investors in Coinbase just yet. Gold up about $3 at $18.80. We had been as high as about $18.87 this morning, and we'll jump to notes and bonds right now. You get the 10-year up, we'll call it 4 ticks at 132.17, and we're sitting basically just above 1.6%, 1.615%, the yield on that 10-year. All right, let's just start it off. We'll jump around to some of the stories. So I talked about Belarus, and we'll just touch on it briefly. You know, this is going to be written about and talked about for a considerable period of time and how the EU reacts to them. So you have Belarus basically forcing a private plane, Ryanair, which is based out of Ireland, out of the sky with fighter jets, basically to arrest a journalist who had been critical of that administration. So that administration, Alexander Lukashenko, already dealing with woes having to do with a disputed election last year. The EU probably going to clamp down on him pretty hard when you think about the fact that you have an EU member state, right? And they're just basically taking their airspace and forcing planes. Now, what's interesting here is, here's the chart they have of Belarus. This is in Bloomberg article here. No huge detraction yet from airlines that are flying over. So it's part of a major route of flights between Asia and Europe. Some carriers, including Lufthansa and FedEx, continuing to fly over the country on Monday. I believe Ryanair might even be continuing some of their legs. Now, what's interesting here is that airlines have routed traffic over Belarus to avoid restive eastern Ukraine region that's been off limits since a Malaysian airline Boeing 777 jet was shot down there in 2014, killing 300 people. It's a tough part of the world over there when you're dealing with flying around one country because commercial airlines potentially being shot down. You go over Belarus, and now you have that EU member state basically creating a terrorist incident. Alleged, doesn't seem to be the case. They take the plane out of the sky. They arrest a journalist that was on the plane. Not what you want to see in terms of commercial air travel. Going to be interesting to see how that plays out with the EU and Belarus already up for sanctions because of the election going on there with it, what's been disputed. Now they really have some woes that they have to deal with when you're talking about commercial airplanes just getting escorted by jet onto the ground. Dicey scenario, and of course you have Russia backing them up. and saying what's with the outrage. Not surprising there. Russia always supporting basically everything evil that that is out there. Okay, let's jump to some of the stocks moving. How about Virgin Galactic? They are moving up in a big way this morning. Stock jumps after a successful weekend spaceflight test. So this stock has been pummeled lately as they had to push back some of these space travel plans, tests. They didn't even give a date many times. Now, you saw the beginning of that acceleration in terms of where we were last week when they announced that this was going to happen. You trade from 62. Last week, we were flirting it with about 15. Thursday and Friday, we really got an acceleration up to 21, and this morning, you're accelerating even further. You spiked to 28.75. Market giving back some of the gains, 25.45, but you're still talking about 20% at this price level that they are going to be trading higher. So the company's successful spaceflight test on Saturday. Space tourism, it's coming, folks. It is. You're seeing the workings of these companies building out right now. That's a critical step forward. Space tourism company works to complete development of the systems. The company aims to begin early 2022 for commercial customers. I mean, that's less than a year that they're going to have commercial tourism in space. Quite a time to be alive, to say the least. So you got Virgin really accelerating higher. 3 space flight tests to go is what they have. So Saturday space flight test, first of 4 remaining before it begins flying commercial customers. So they got 3 more. The next ones will carry 4 passengers to test the cabin. And the third test is planned to fly who? The founder, Sir Richard Branson. It would make sense that he'd put himself up there, right? He loves being in the press, for sure. Quite an opportunity to do it. We believe this business can have high attractive economics if risks can be managed. I'd say that's a big one, folks, because unfortunately, hope it never happens. But there's a lot of danger, of course, when you're dealing with space travel on a commercial basis. We've become so numb to the fact of the dangers of flying commercially because it's so safe. The amount of travel that we do by air, if you think about it, and then compared to the number of tragedies, casualties, remarkably safe in the air. Be interesting to see what they do here. They have to achieve some type of considerable comparable safety if they're going to be selling it to the commercial sector. That's what they're trying to do. You get the CEO going out there himself, putting himself behind it. We'll see how it goes, but nonetheless, quite a pop. Now, all I'll say here, folks, is that's the first test. They have 3 more. You see the market got ahead of itself here from an area of 25 to 62, and all we've done this morning is basically get up to where we were trading at on April 15th on this stock of about $25, but nonetheless, quite a little pop when we were just trading at 15 last week on Virgin Galactic. All right, what else we got going on? Jumping around to some of the stocks that we got moving. Let's see. We'll start it off. Virgin Galactic we talked about. And I wanted to talk about, so Moderna, they struck a vaccine production agreement with South Korea in a move it said will allow it provide its vaccine to markets outside of the U.S. beginning in the 3rd quarter. So Moderna, their shares a little bit higher on that news. I mean, the next battle here is going to be getting our vaccines out to the world, folks. We got to get the people who are hesitant in this country, hopefully, to get over that hesitancy. But we're still dealing with some pretty harsh cases in different areas of the world. That's going to be the next step, how we push billions potentially out to, and not we, the whole world pushes billions out to get those vaccines to the people that need them most. India dealing with quite a woes. That variant going on in India right now, they keep talking about maybe 50% more transmissible. Hopefully they get that under control. AMC will pull this chart up when I get back. So how about this one? China's Dalian Wanda Group, I believe I'm saying that, sold most of its stake in the theater operator over the last week. We'll talk about this. Almost $500 million. AMC lower this morning. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Golden ratios give shape to everything in our world, represented in the Fibonacci sequence. These special numbers define the patterns that make up our universe. Not even markets can escape the omnipotence of these ratios. Larry Pesavento is a 45-year market veteran who has published nearly a dozen books on the powerful patterns we find in nature and their relationships with the ever-elusive markets. Larry's newsletter, Fibonacci 24/7, will teach you to harness the power of these natural golden ratios in order to create successful trades. Fibonacci 24/7 is designed to teach the tools you need to identify and act on these undeniable and reoccurring patterns. Sign up for Larry's newsletter, Fibonacci 24/7, and you will also receive free access to his trading webinar, Trading Strong Trending Markets. Try out Larry's newsletter risk-free. All of TFNN's newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today.
Hey there, I'm Andy Arbertine with Tiger Precious Metals and Stones. Whether you're looking to buy and sell precious metals or trying to find the perfect diamond ring, I'm here to help. I have over 15 years of experience with diamonds and precious metals. You can call me directly at 727-329-8245, and I will personally answer any questions you have and help you find exactly what you're looking for. I will be your personal concierge in the metal and stone business. Give me a call today, 727-329-8245.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
All right, welcome back, folks. Jumping around to what else we got going on. And as I was just talking about, so Coinbase, a little bit jumping around a bit here. Let's pull up AMC as I talked about first before we get into Coinbase. AMC shares, as we mentioned, big seller out there. So actually, look at this. We're actually higher from where we were. So AMC, you had their largest shareholder sold most of its stake in the movie theater operator over the past week. Dalian Wanda sold 30.4 million shares for about almost $500 million. And shares trade higher. There's a lot going on in terms of the variables in play with AMC. The market, pricing in and opening back up of movie theaters. You put it on the daily. We're up to 1208. You could say the Reddit boys and girls over there at Wall Street Bets got a hold of this thing again. They just come out with their earnings on May 6th. You spike up to a high on May 18th, 6 days ago, 1467. You pull back to 1208 this morning. We're up 1238. Now, the thing to consider here that's so interesting. Now, you see the volume spikes on this. Now, that's quite a spike there on May 13th. Okay, the things really rock. But what I want to bring up is you go back to, let's just say like May 7th, right? These days, we're ticking around at a price, at a volume level, about 49 million shares, right? 41 million shares, 38 million shares, 39 million shares. There was some huge, huge volume days here, 300 million, 200 million, as this thing skyrocketed. Point being, folks, there are traders out there, and you had this trader talking about AMC, sliding down again, we'll call it 30 million shares they had to sell, okay? On any other day, that's basically the entire day's volume almost. Look at May 3rd, 31 million shares. That's the entire day's volume, but guess what? If you're trying to sneak 30 million shares into a day that does 300 million shares, okay, they sold it last week. Where did they sell it, folks? They sold it somewhere in the last week when it was above that $11. You really accelerated, and they probably said, hey, guess what? We don't want to ride this thing out forever. Who knows where this thing is going to settle when the dust settles. And look at this chart. We were at $1.91. That's January of this year, folks. That's not going back to 2020. We were at $1.91 in January of this year, and they were probably just able to exit that anywhere between, give or take, at least $10 to $14, right? Somewhere in that range. You were just trading at $1.91. They saw that spike, I'm guessing. They got out of there. The remarkable thing is, be careful in this equity, because you don't often have one of the biggest investors in an equity sell a $500 million position. And a $500 million position in an equity like AMC is a lot more substantial when AMC is only pushing, I think, like $10, $12 billion market cap. What are we at here? No, 5.5 billion. Okay? There's only 450 million shares outstanding, and you had one person, one fund, sell 30 million shares over the last week, and the market doesn't even react. There's a lot going on in that equity. Be careful with that one, folks, in a big way. All right, let's jump around to a little sports before we get into the action. How about Phil Mickelson yesterday? Wins the PGA Championship, oldest person ever to win a major at 50 years old. Phil, fan favorite, didn't win his first major until he was 33, I think it was. So that goes back to like 2003, 2004, and he had a nice run there. Once he won his first one, he won a couple in the years following. He's now at number 5 or 6, I think it is. Nonetheless, pretty cool. Oldest player ever to win a major. And look at that trophy. That is quite a trophy there from Mr. Phil Mickelson. And I think he had the lead going all the way through through the weekend. He had a 5-shot lead at one point in that on Saturday and gave it all up. So talk about a little bit of volatility in a big way. He gives it up, and then he comes back and gets it done in a big way. I'm going to pull up after this next break, too. We'll have the market. I got an article up here, and I want to pull it up because it talked about the betting that was going on in terms of the betting, on terms of where they were. He started the weekend, he started the whole tournament at 200 to 1. Not surprising when you think about it, but never been done. Somebody his age before, but nonetheless, he gets it done. Pretty cool to see in a big way. All right, jumping back to stocks, going down the line of what we got going on. So HP, they got an upgrade to buy from neutral from Citi, HPQ. Citi says that HP to beat consensus forecast, raise its outlook when it reports later this week. We'll talk about, we got some companies coming out this week, too. We got NVIDIA, we got Costco, I believe, coming out with their numbers. We'll pull that up in a moment, but HP, they're one of them coming out. What's their symbol? HPQ? Yes, it is. HPQ is their symbol. And there you see the run from about 31.75. We're up to 32.44. You put this on a daily for some context. It's been quite a run to higher prices, and it looks like Citi is giving them an upgrade to continue that trend. They talk about Coinbase with the volatility. How about Beyond? They got a double upgrade from Jefferies to outperform from underperform. They expect the recovery in organic growth and rebounding food service channels. So food service channels, right? You're not talking about grocery stores. You're talking about food service, BYND. Beyond, it's been quite a pullback recently. They're going to get a nice pop on the open, though, to 112. All things considered, though, folks, it looks great when you're up $6, right, on this equity. $6.50 potentially. Quite a pop. But, man, this thing was just trading at 221. Just trading at 221 on January 26th. And you're talking about you're still going to be at about 112 for Beyond Meat on their open, but a double upgrade nonetheless. Dollar General, they're a little bit lower this market. They get a downgrade to underperform from neutral. They note that Dollar General stock historically been pressured in times of rising gasoline prices, and the customers' traffic could be hurt by rebounding use of gas station convenience stores. I mean, just so many variables. How does that play in, right? Think about where your mind has to go in terms of understanding that gas station stores have not seen the business that they usually had. Maybe people keeping their distance with COVID. Maybe they're not as worried about that anymore, so they run in, they grab what they might need. You don't necessarily make that trip to Dollar General. That ends up reverberating through Dollar General. Dollar General, talk about some volatility as well. This is a daily. From 173 to 220 recently. This morning, you're going to open a little bit lower as well to about 201 to 204. So you're sitting just above $200 on Dollar General, looking for their open in about 5 minutes this morning as well. And Palantir, they won a $32.5 million contract to provide software to the Air Force and Space Force. They're a little bit higher this morning. Palantir, we'll take a look at them. PLTR. Palantir, we're trading at just above $21, all things considered. Relatively flat for that, $32 million, not a make or break deal for Palantir. I believe you're talking about, what are we valued at right now? Yeah, $40 billion company, so $30 million contract, not a make or break, but nonetheless, continuing to accrue business. All right, we got 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes to go until the opening bell. Let's take a look at some of the FANG stocks as we await. We got the NASDAQ 100 up an even 100 points as we come into the opening bell. We'll come back from the break coming up. We're going to be talking about what earnings we have coming up. As I mentioned, we got Costco coming up with their numbers. We'll talk about some of the others. We got AutoZone, Cracker Barrel coming out. I think we got Nordstrom out as well. I'm going to jump through the list of the numbers that we got coming out with their earnings, but we'll jump through some of the FANG stocks. Amazon going to be slightly higher on the open this morning. We got Microsoft shares trading higher as well from 245.17. We're above 2, up more than 2 higher. Apple shares 126.07 on Apple. We'll finish it up with Google. Google 23.63. You put Google on the daily. Come on, cooperate. Where are we at? I was going to say not too far from the all-time highs. Within about 85, you're going to open above 2360, all-time high on Google, 2452. And let's jump over to the volatility index as this market continues upward. Remarkable, though, that this VIX, talked about a little bit on Friday. We got quite an acceleration. We had the lows of the market last week on Wednesday morning. You were at a VIX at 26. Since then, we're sitting at 41.75, folks, in the S&Ps. Okay, and you still got a VIX flirting with basically 20 as volatility still priced into this market with the volatility that's persisting. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back with the opening bell.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den trading room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets open right where we pick up from where we left off. S&P's up about 23 points. NASDAQ 100 up about 100 even. We get the Dow up 136, and we get the Russell up about 11 points. Jumping right into some of the stocks that we have coming up with earnings. So Tuesday, let's see where we start. Tuesday, tomorrow, we got AutoZone and Cracker Barrel before the opening bell. Let's take a look. AutoZone. So you're barely positive today. This stock been quite a rocket ship, man. From 11.50 in March, we trade to 15.42. You're trading at 14.65. We're going to pull up the Analyze tab. How about a $61 move? Not too surprising when you're dealing with a $1,400 stock. So about a 4% move in either direction priced into their earnings. Their earnings coming out, yes, tomorrow before the bell. You also get Cracker Barrel, CRBL, I believe, CBRL, Cracker Barrel. $161 stock. They're out with their numbers tomorrow before the bell as well. Been a steady rise for this equity. We'll put it on a weekly to see basically right back to where you were pre-COVID levels. We're trading at 161.44. That's where things fell off, down to $53. They'll be out with their numbers tomorrow before the bell as well. And then after the bell tomorrow, we get Nordstrom. So, I mean, we're tail end of the earnings season here, but you can see how many names still sneak their way in. Might not be, you know, FANG stocks, behemoths, but still big stocks out there in terms of earnings. Nordstrom, JWN, we're down about 0.8% so far. Now, that's a weekly. Let's put it back on a daily. Down about 0.8%. We've been chopping around with Nordstrom between about 35 and really 40. A couple times, a couple days, we made it as high as about 45. But they're out with their numbers. Pulling over the Analyze tab, you're talking about, there's a move for you. $37 stock, and you're looking for $3.24. You're talking about an 8%, maybe 9% move in either direction on that equity coming out with their numbers tomorrow after the bell. We get Toll Brothers in terms of housing. They'll be out with their numbers after the bell tomorrow as well. Looking about 5 to 6% move in either direction for Toll. Been quite the housing market, right? I don't have to tell you, the housing market. You go from Toll 48 prior to COVID, you go down to $13. We're sitting at about $60 with their numbers after the bell tomorrow. We got Urban Outfitters tomorrow after the bell as well. Urban up about 0.4%. We had a $12 low coming into COVID. Now, again, that's a weekly. We'll put this back on a daily. We have a consolidation, and we kind of just broke below that consolidation coming into their numbers of about 35 to 40 for Urban Outfitters. Pulling up the Analyze tab, you're talking about a $2.71 move. Some decent moves priced into some of these companies, especially in the retail sector, as the market tries to figure out whether they're going to be able to bounce back quickly or not. We get Abercrombie & Fitch, I believe, Wednesday before the bell. So we're jumping to Wednesday now. A&F, let's check them out, speaking of retail. Abercrombie & Fitch, there they are. They'll be out Wednesday before the bell, May 26th. Check out that move, a $5 move. So, folks, here's what you want to think about, right? If you haven't tried my newsletter yet, Rocket Equities and Options, give it a try. I'll have a report out for subscribers later this afternoon. Always have a published report on Mondays, along with updates through the week. So this is a huge move when you look at percentage-wise, right? You're talking about a $36 stock. You're talking about almost a $5 move priced into their options, okay? So you go in, it's a $5 move basically for the week. $4.90 of that is priced into the options event. Basically what that's going to mean is at the money, if it's $5, you're talking about $2.50 almost in either direction, right? Here's what I want to say, though. Look at the spreads, because this is not a super actively traded option environment, right? The whole world isn't trading Abercrombie & Fitch puts and calls prior to their earnings event. So you're going to be dealing with potentially a little bit of illiquidity, okay, on this equity. Now, yes, there's huge premium priced in, okay, but there's also a huge bid-ask spread within each option. Even an at-the-money option expiring in 4 days on Friday, at the money of 37, a put or a call, you're talking about 60 cents on either side. Okay, so if you're making trades in Abercrombie & Fitch, and listen, this is always one. Everything's on my radar when I'm looking at things to trade, folks. You love to see that type of volatility priced into an equity, because what does that mean? You have the opportunity to absorb that premium if you want to be the one selling volatility. Doesn't mean that's what's going to make sense, folks. I mean, you look at the chart of Abercrombie & Fitch. We were just trading at 43.60. You're now down to 37. That's a $6, $7 move in no time, in the span of 4 trading days, even without earnings, okay? So you have some volatility. There's some uncertainty coming into their numbers, which makes sense. But you really want to consider, number one, Yeah, you can enter some option trades, okay? You want to try and hit the middle of that market, okay? You want to try and get into there at a fair price. But something to consider is you're going to deal with this on getting out of trades as well, okay? You can't just figure, and the great thing, folks, if you haven't checked out the program Fast Market on the TD Ameritrade Network, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, every trading day. Kevin Hinks, Alex Coffey, the whole team there. They bring in guests, Tom White. They great discussions, right? And one of the things they're talking about is, where do you find liquidity? Because when you're trading multi-leg option trades, especially, you have to have liquid markets when you're dealing with multi-leg option trades, because what can happen is you want to make sure you're getting fair prices in and out, right? And if you're doing multi-leg option trades and it's an illiquid market, yes, it might represent that you're talking about a $4.50 move, but are you going to be able to be executed when you're dealing with, yes, it's only a 60-cent spread, folks, but could you imagine, just for a second, to drive home the point, and then we'll jump around, because this is the point I want to make. If you were ever trading a stock that was trading at about $2, okay, and that stock that was trading at $2 had a bid-ask spread of 35 cents, you would say, I am never going to touch that because it's so difficult, because the percentage difference of what you may gain or lose just on the execution, if you ever have to buy on the ask or sell on the bid, and these are closing a bit as the market opens. You see we've now dropped to below $4.50, okay? Something to consider in the options market, because so often people see this number, and what'll happen is, folks, let's just get into it. We'll finish. So if you want to add a simulated trade, all right, we're in the Analyze tab. I'm just going to show you how this gets built. Let's say that we want to sell somebody a call spread, okay? So we're going to be selling a call spread. Look at the bid-ask spread in this. You're talking about 110 basis points. You're talking about 90. There's a $1.30 bid-ask spread. Look at that. Now it's going bonkers here, okay? You got to be careful of this, all right? So what it is you sell somebody else maybe a call at 38. You're the one buying back coverage at 39. Now, what's this going to say is, this is going to say that you're going to get a credit of 30 cents, right? Now it's 25. But here's the thing, folks, all right? And let me just see if I do this. I'm not going to execute this trade. No, that's not going to do it. I wanted to get this into where you can see the fair market. You know what? Let's go back here. I want to illustrate this for purposes. We're going to sell somebody else a 38 call. We're going to buy a 39 call. So we're giving somebody else the right to buy Abercrombie at 38. This would be a bearish trade. Would be trying to absorb the premium between 38 and 39. Okay. For that, you're talking about 30 cents is the middle of the credit. But what I wanted to show you is then look at the natural. That's as in if you just pair where you're buying on the ask or selling on the bid. Look, there's 82 cents of difference here, 85 cents of difference of where this could be executed. You're never going to sell somebody premium and have to pay for it. Right? It's just going to be difficult to get executed potentially, folks. It's something you got to consider when you're looking at these, because so often, if you're new to the market, you may see a ton of premium priced into this equity. You may see a gold mine, but consider these bid-ask spreads, because they're large, and that's going to make it difficult to get executed in the middle of that spread if you're trading options, especially if you're trading multi-leg options. We got the S&P's up 28 points, folks. NASDAQ up 152. We'll check in on the markets. We'll be right back.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com and hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com. Then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. 9:42 in the morning. We're 12 minutes into trading for the week, and we got S&Ps up almost 29 points right now, trading at 41.80. I have a channel line up here. We're on a daily basis of the S&Ps. You can see how concisely this thing has bounced off the top and the bottom of this channel line, folks. I don't have to tell you where it is. Pull up a daily chart of the S&P, match up the highs and the lows, and there's your channel line. You can draw it yourself. We're sitting right now in the middle of that channel line at 41.81 in the S&Ps, but it is, as they've put it many times, a melt up, and we're accelerating on that melt up on the opening bell. Zooming in on a 1 minute just to see the type of action that we got pretty quickly this morning. We're pushing highs at 41.81 in the S&Ps right now. All right, what else we got going on? How about this crypto sector? Let's just talk about for a second. So we're talking about potentially trillions. 1 trillion is not trillions plural, but we're at a trillion, folks. Volatile $1 trillion crypto route. Now, for illustration purposes, right, I mean, that is talking about basically a company like, wow, look at this pop on Facebook. I wasn't even going here. I'm just going here for the end of, to pull up their market cap. But Facebook really getting a pop on the open. Not sure why. They're up 1.6%, accelerating to 321.46. Now, you pull up the Analyze tab. All right, on the Thinkorswim platform, you go into the Fundamentals Under tab on there. You scroll down. They just have an amazing amount of information in terms of the fundamentals of a company. We're talking about the market cap. So market cap of Facebook is $911 billion as we stand today when it's trading at 321.40. Point being, that would be like every single person in the whole world who owned Facebook shares getting wiped out completely. If that ever happened, folks, the market would freak out. There would be reverberations in dramatic fashion in terms of if Facebook ever got wiped out, the type of devastation that would do to people that were in that just as part of their portfolio could have worldwide market impacts. Yet here we are in crypto, and you're seeing $1 trillion wiped out. Now, the argument here is that many people don't have the type of money that you might have in Facebook that you couldn't have. It's not quite the same systematic risk, right, where you don't have huge accounts that are potentially so plowed through in one equity that you might have to cause selling, et cetera. But nonetheless, folks, we're talking about levels here that do matter when 7 to 10 days to 14 days ago, you had assets in people's accounts, and you know a lot of them are going to be these decentralized finance, crypto trading exchanges, decentralized exchanges, et cetera. But they were assets. They were assets that people had considered an asset of a very volatile asset, okay? But it was an asset that represented $1 trillion in market cap that has now disappeared. That will have an impact to some degree, that $1 trillion of assets in people's accounts have basically disappeared over the course of like a couple weeks. It's just a remarkable number when you think about it. You look at the Bloomberg Crypto Index last week, by the most since the pandemic turmoil, okay? We're at some crazy lofty levels, folks. You see the chart. We haven't seen anything like this probably since futures went live on Bitcoin. And you're talking about going live. We got to back it up for a 5-year weekly to a level of, we're talking about December 17th. I mean, remarkable that Bitcoin, they launched futures, which becomes the first opportunity to short Bitcoin in a regulated environment. It seems like a no-brainer, folks. Many times it does. Hindsight is 2020. But you have Bitcoin go over the period of a year from 20,000 down to 3. You had to base out for almost basically until COVID. Yeah, I say base out, right? It looks like nothing on this chart. You did make it as high as above almost 13,900 in June. You pulled all the way back during the lows of COVID to about 4,200 before you took off in a big way. But be careful of that market, because that type of losses, when you're talking about $1 trillion, and it's everywhere in terms of where they are. Just taking a look, we'll take a look at Ethereum, for instance. Ethereum, quite a resurgence, okay, but pulling this up, Ethereum, you're talking about 2410. You back it up on the week. I mean, we were trading at 3,500 on May 18th, folks. That's 8 days ago. That's not 8 trading days ago. It's 8 days, because cryptos trade 24/7. You made it down to a low yesterday, I believe this is, of 1,800. And just like that, this is why people love cryptos. I get it, okay? You're basically up 33% in the price of Ethereum. From 1843, you're up $600 almost to 2412. All right, but you don't have to be a brilliant tactician to see that that might be a downward channel, folks. You put it on the monthly, right? My goodness, what's going on there? That's just a month. You're trading at 2,200 on Ethereum, April 24th. You make it to a high of 4,300, I believe, 4,400. What's the high there? What do we got? Maybe 44, 4,300. And that high was correlating to May 12th. That's 12 days ago, folks. We're falling out of bed. And I bring up Ethereum in particular because Ethereum is almost as solid as Bitcoin, maybe even more solid in terms of using it for transactions, for tokens, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, and then we'll pull up the fan favorite of Dogecoin, $33. We were trading at 29 cents. And let me just back up. That was early. You had this yesterday at the lows on Doge of 27 cents. We're trading at 33. You put it on the monthly, and kind of like Ethereum, right? You had that run up to a level staggering on Doge, because Doge is worthless, folks, okay? It might be worth something today. It might be worth something tomorrow. But unless it serves a purpose, then what's the reason for holding it? If it's just a store of value, there's a million cryptos. It has no development in it. We've talked about it before. Be very careful for Doge, because all this is it's a hot potato game, and that's fine, right? It's a hot potato game of don't end up with the hot potato last, or you're the one in trouble. And as long as you don't end up last, you're fine, because the market's just so volatile, it's going up. But at least if you're getting into some of these, it might be nice to have an actual functional purpose as kind of a support level that might be there if you're going to be a buyer. For instance, like Ethereum, like Bitcoin. Not sure 30,000 is a fair price for Bitcoin even. Not sure 2,400 is a fair price for Ethereum. But they do serve a purpose beyond just who will pay what for it tomorrow. Dogecoin, not quite the scenario at all. All right, jumping back to a little sports, tying in some numbers and some profits in there, getting into the betting becoming so big in this country along with across the globe. BetMGM we're talking about here. So they had a little bit of a tough weekend here. Anytime you get a fan favorite that crushes it, that's not what the bookies want, because they can't balance all those bets when you got everybody piling in on the fan favorite, like Mr. Phil Mickelson. But nonetheless, he started at 200 to 1. Okay, before the tournament, you had him at 200 to 1. Only about 0.8% of tickets and 0.5% of money was on him. That even in itself is surprising when you think about a 50-year-old is getting. That would be 1 out of every $200 was placed on Phil Mickelson to start. Interesting that you look at it. It's 1 out of every $200, right? What are the odds for him to win? 1 out of 200. Not a coincidence, folks, in terms of how those bookies try and line those bets up. But as he came into the lead, this is really what's interesting, is Sunday, and this is where they kind of probably paid the price on all these bets, but they set the line accordingly in terms of what they were thinking the demand for action was going to be. They still had Phil Mickelson at plus 300. So for betting purposes, folks, if you put up $100 is how you look at it. Plus 300 means basically they're going to pay 3 times your money if you win. You put up 100. If you win, you get 300. So he is a 3-to-1 dog potentially as the leader coming into Sunday. The guy behind him, Brooks Koepka, huge major winner himself. He was only 160. But what happened? Phil got it done. Coming into Sunday as the leader, they gave him plus 300. And by the end of the final round, 6.5% of the money was bet on Mickelson, and he got it done. Interesting stuff. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave. Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got a lot of strength in this market right now. You got the S&P's up 30 points, NASDAQ 100 up 170 points, the Dow up 140, and the Russell up 16 right now. You got Bitcoin just under 38,000 at 37,500. Crude catching quite a bit. We're above $65 at 65.07. Gold contract this morning hanging right at about 18.80. All right, jumping around. So talking about earnings, I went through it. I'm just going to list them real quick, folks, as we wrap up the hour, because, boy, we got a lot of earnings still this week. So tomorrow, AutoZone and Toll Brothers, Intuit out as well. Wednesday, we get some big numbers, big names, I should say, in the retail. We get Dick's Sporting Goods on Wednesday. We also get Williams-Sonoma Williams-Sonoma, on Wednesday. Let me slide down. I'm looking at a chart here, what I have going on. So we got Dick's, we got American Eagle Outfitters as well on Wednesday. Williams-Sonoma, NVIDIA is going to be a big one out on Wednesday. A couple others on Wednesday making their way in there. Snowflake, they'll be out as well in Workday. Thursday, we got Best Buy, Dollar General, and Dollar Tree, Medtronics, Gap, Ulta Beauty, and Costco. Salesforce and Dell. Keeps going, folks. Big week of retail earnings coming out. Be interesting to see how they shake out some of these stocks. I mean, check out, we'll just jump real quick as we wrap it up. Dick's Sporting Goods, right? Now, this is a weekly. My goodness, you're going to be coming in, folks. You're going to have a lot of lofty expectations when you have a chart that goes from 13. We just made a high a couple weeks ago of 91.80 on Dick's Sporting Goods. We're talking about a $6.55 move on Dick's Sporting Goods. They'll be coming out with theirs. And jump into Best Buy real quick as we wrap it up. Is that? I want to make sure I'm on it. Yes, it is. Best Buy, jumping over the Analyze tab. They're out with their numbers on Thursday. You're talking about a $7.27 move. Quite a run we had from 50, but guess what? We've been chopping around with Best Buy since August at 120 up to 115 on that equity. All right, folks. Thanks so much for starting your day with me. I appreciate it. And what else we got going on? Jump into a 15-minute as we run things up. 41.83, pushing the highs on Friday morning of 41.85 in that market. You got the NASDAQ at 164 in the positive, 13,569. Look at that acceleration in the NASDAQ. Stay tuned, folks. We got to replay this hour. Basil, unfortunately, out the rest of the day. Fast market at 11. I just went over all the equities with options. They'll have plenty to talk about. We got our man Steve at 1, David 2, Tom O'Brien at 3. Right back.